Something extraordinary is happening in Washington right now, folks. Behind closed doors, a seismic shift is underway that has career bureaucrats trembling. What exactly is Schedule F, and why does its mere mention send shockwaves through the administrative state? Well, tonight we'll reveal the bombshell executive action that could fundamentally transform how government operates, and that's not all. What if I told you that the official covid.gov website has undergone a complete metamorphosis overnight? What explosive information has suddenly appeared that contradicts everything that we've been told for years? Who's being named directly on a government website as responsible for a massive cover-up? And why are White House staffers now openly singing Amazing Grace in the halls of power? Well, the accountability revolution has begun, and the implications are staggering, so stay tuned as we expose the full story that the mainstream media is desperately trying to bury. And as we move through 2025, one thing stands crystal clear. De-dollarization is accelerating worldwide. China and BRICS nations fear President Trump's America First policies, making them even more determined to reduce dollar dependence and establish themselves as economic rivals. Well, their secret weapon is gold. China has resumed buying gold reserves, but deliberately underreports their purchases. And I'll ask you, do you know why they do that? It's because they recognize gold's inherent global value and its stability during economic upheaval. It's not about nations, it's about protecting your family's future. In our uncertain economic landscape, gold provides a personal hedge against instability, and Noble Gold Investments, our sponsor, helps secure your financial future through precious metals ownership. Visit nextnewsgold.com to learn how, and qualified accounts receive 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins as a bonus. That's quite a bonus, especially at the price of silver now. Remember, nextnewsgold.com and the number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Make sure when you talk to Colin, you tell him that Gary Franchi sent you directly. All right, let's get into it. Before we start, I do want to point out that, there's already liberal meltdowns happening. This appears to be an Olive Garden, I think. Let's take a look here. You guys got to see this. Let me pull up this shot. You can see the full thing. The cops got called, but this is typical. The woman, or a man, older man, big ass beard, wearing a MAGA hat, and then this liberal comes up and just goes nuts, absolutely nuts.
And you have a baby here with you. You're a disgusting, sick, vile, fucking weirdo. Oh my God, it's fucking right. You dumb bitch, you're with this shit. He doesn't want me or you to have equality. Oh my God, go pray for me. Touch me and watch me touch his fucking hands. I will hit and get away. Sit down. Get out. You're not welcome here. You don't want these people here. You're not welcome. You want me to make you be okay, comfortable in this one? Who the hell are you? Scared of me if you'll man.
I'm proud of this man. This man here is going to beat people like him.
Please call the cops. Thank you, sir. You don't like the prior service, but you don't like veterans. Why are you disrespecting the restaurant we're in that house? That don't make any damn sense. And then y'all right now, this is crazy shit right here. This is some fucked up shit. And you have a baby here with you. You're a disgusting,
okay,
sick,
so,
vile, fucking...
And did you see what was on her shirt? Yeah, she has a Luigi Mangione as a saint on her shirt. That tells you everything you need to know about this woman right here. She is lifting up Luigi Mangione as a saint. That is the liberal left for you today. I should also point out that on this day, the 88th day of President Trump's return, happens to be 250 years to the date since 1775 that Paul Revere rode to warn of British invasion. Trump used tweets instead of horses to sound alarms to his followers. Two men, different centuries, both rallying supporters against what they believed as threats to American liberty. Check out that picture. Absolutely amazing. We've got some more stuff here. Okay, so what is up with this Schedule F everyone is talking about? Tim Pool broke it down. The Trump administration moving forward with Schedule F, which will make it easier to fire federal employees. The rule is expected to strip civil service protections from approximately 50,000 federal workers, about 2% of the federal workforce. And here is, looks like Kash Patel talking with Tim Pool. Now, I'm not sure if this is This may be before he was the FBI director. Let's listen.
So the next tier beyond his criminal prosecutions is Schedule F and terminations across the board.
Yeah.
We're here at the Libertarian Party National Convention, and if Trump goes out there and says, "I'm gonna fire them all," the whole crowd just cheers, erupts.
Look, here's the thing. When I was his deputy for DNI, or when I was running DOD for him, we did. People think it's a myth. They're like, you can't fire government employees. I'm like, why not? What? Well, it's a tradition. What?
It's a terrible tradition. We keep up our traditions all the time.
I was
Let's
like,
get rid
it's
of
like
this
the
one.
DOJ telling me it's a tradition not to prosecute
So I'm a
presidents during
progressive in
presidential
this
interview,
issue.
except Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah. So we fired a ton of people. We eliminated a lot of waste. Nobody said anything. And also, if these people are in violation of internal regulations, which a ton of them have already admitted to during the Biden administration, by going public, by breaking regs, you can fire them. So while you don't need to fire everybody, you could fire a ton of people, and
You
the
could
next,
fire everybody, though.
but you could.
Like, well, but
we need some. There's a
95%.
lot of good guys left in. I'm telling you, there's still a lot of good folks left in there.
Right.
They're waiting.
I say the best government is no government, but that's my own personal opinion.
There's
so
a myth
I'm
that,
biased.
There's a myth that people are like, oh, who's doing the books? The employee books or whatever. We need 4,000 employees to be appointed when Trump goes in. I was like, where'd you get this 4,000 number? Like, well, every president has said we need 4,000. Why do we need 4,000? Why not? Give me 500 good guys.
Yeah.
The other 3,500 are the people causing the problems that you end up putting in government. They end up being people like Fiona Hill or John Bolton or Mike Pompeo or Mark Esper or Gina Haspel or Rod Rosenstein. I mean, the list goes on. Like, you don't need them all.
Yeah, you don't need them all. And President Trump is advancing his plans to make it easier to fire tens of thousands of federal workers. He said he would move forward with a rule previously known as Schedule F, allowing agencies to quickly remove employees from critical positions who engage in misconduct. Check it out.
traumatized.
Laura, President Trump promised that he would do this. So what does this do, and how many workers would this affect?
So Schedule F changes the job classification of nonpartisan federal workers, designating them as political appointees. And so bottom line, it makes it easier for the president to fire anyone that he considers disloyal and replace them with complete loyalists to his cause and to his agenda. Now, Schedule F
Sounds like a good idea to me. Because if you're not with the agenda, then what the hell are you doing there?
was a part of the Project 2025 blueprint from the Heritage Foundation.
Oh my God! Project 2025. Holy cow, it's actually happening, folks. This is all part of the blueprint. Oh my goodness. Ah! Good. Execute Project 2025. I'm trying to do my best Emperor Palpatine voice. Order 66. Anyway.
And OMB Director Russ Vought was key in drafting this during the first administration, but they were not able to implement it during the first administration. And Russ Vought said throughout the campaign that they wanted to traumatize federal workers. And the White House estimates that this will impact some 50,000 federal workers that could be laid off, but government experts say that that's probably a minimum.
So what happens next? And has there been, I imagine, pushback to this?
There has been pushback. But so first, what happens is a White House official said that agencies have until April 20th to hand them the list of who they think should be reclassified in their agencies. But Everett Kelly, the president of the American Federation of Government Employees, said that this is another in a series of deliberate moves by this administration to corrupt the federal government and replace qualified public servants with political cronies.
To corrupt the federal government with political cronies? Actually, it's in reverse. See, the federal government is loaded with Democrat political crony operatives, deep state operatives, who are roadblocks to the administration's agenda. So that's why we're going to get rid of them. How funny is that? Government union people, right? Projection.
FG says that they are going to sue the administration, and they're the largest union representing federal workers.
So this is part
of whatever. Yeah, sue. You can sue all you want. All right, cry, 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 just like this woman at Olive Garden. But I'm not going to cry when I go fill up my gas tank, because remember, we were told that Trump would increase the price of gas and eggs. But what happens? The prices keep on dropping. Check out this picture. 261 for regular, 87 octane. Dustin Gregel posting this just a few hours ago, making gas prices great again. I'm going to get a sticker, and it's gonna have President Trump on it, and it's gonna have him pointing, and I'm gonna put it on every freaking gas tank, every gas pump. I did that, right? Remember the old Joe Biden? I did that when prices were going up. Yeah, well, now it's gonna work in the opposite as prices come down. Donald Trump right now, moving forward, career government employees working on policy matters will be classified as scheduled policy career. If these government workers refuse to advance policy interests of president or are engaging in corrupt behavior, they will no longer have a job. This will allow the federal government to finally be run like a business. Okay, let's keep going on this. The Trump administration will announce a new rule, Schedule F, that will make it easier to remove federal employees undermining the president's agenda, according to Axios. And did you guys see the new website, covid.gov? It's been completely overhauled into a massive lab leak data center displaying scientific proof that COVID was man-made in Wuhan, China. Do you hear that, YouTube? That's the official policy of the United States government. The official site now names Dr. Fauci as the criminal who covered up COVID origins. Yeah, censor that shit, would ya? Okay, let's go. This is a screenshot that Benny Johnson posted. Lab leak, the origins. We're going to actually go into the website. We're going to dive deeper, because these pictures don't do it justice, because we're finally getting justice. Here it is, lab leak, the origin. The proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 publication, which was used repeatedly by public health officials and the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that COVID-19 originated naturally. So update all your terms of service to reflect the official position of the United States government, not the World Health Organization. Point one. I'm going to make it even bigger. The virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found in nature. Point two, data shows that all COVID cases stem from a single introduction into humans. This runs contrary to previous pandemics where there were multiple spillover events. Point three, Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab, which has a history of conducting gain-of-function research, gene altering and organism supercharging at inadequate biosafety levels. I'm old enough to remember when I was called a conspiracy theorist, having videos deleted off this platform for merely mentioning this idea at the beginning of the pandemic. Well, son of a bitch. The conspiracy theorists were frickin' right again. God, I am so unbelievably frickin' pissed. Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab, which has a history, yada, yada. Point four, Wuhan Institute of Virology researchers were sick with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019, months before COVID-19 was discovered at the wet market. By nearly all measures of science, point five, if there was evidence of a natural origin, it would have already surfaced, but it hasn't. Oh, and they give us a nice little map. There is the Wuhan Institute of Virology, 7.5 miles from the Hunan Seafood Market. Proximal origin publication. The proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2, which was used repeatedly by public health officials and the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that COVID-19 originated in nature. Gain-of-function research. A lab-related incident involving gain-of-function is the most likely the origin of COVID-19. Current government mechanisms for overseeing this dangerous gain-of-function research are incomplete, severely convoluted, and lack global applicability. EcoHealth Alliance, under the leadership of Dr. Peter Daszak, used taxpayer dollars to facilitate dangerous gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China, after the Select Subcommittee released evidence of EcoHealth violating the terms of its National Institute of Health grant. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services commenced official debarment proceedings and suspended all funding to EcoHealth. New evidence also shows the Department of Justice, DOJ, has opened an investigation into EcoHealth's pandemic-era activities. The failures at the NIH procedures for funding and overseeing potentially dangerous research are deficient, unreliable, and pose a serious threat to both public health and national security. Further, NIH fostered an environment that promoted evading federal record-keeping laws, as seen through the actions of Dr. David Morenz and FOIA lady Marge Moore. And here he is, Dr. Death, receiving his executive grant of clemency. Dr. Joseph R. Biden, President of the United States, hereby grants Dr. Fauci a preemptive pardon for his crimes against humanity. And they post it right here on the official White House website, a full and unconditional pardon for any offenses against the United States, which he may have committed or taken part of from going back to January 1st of 2014. January 1st of 2014. Good God. HHS obstruction. The Biden administration's HHS engaged in a multi-year campaign of delay, confusion, and non-responsiveness in an attempt to obstruct the Select Subcommittee's investigation and hide evidence that could incriminate or embarrass senior public health officials. It appears that HHS even intentionally under-resourced its component that responds to legislative oversight requests. Obstruction at EcoHealth. The president there, Dr. Peter Daszak, obstructed the Select Subcommittee's investigation by providing publicly available information, instructing his staff to reduce the scope and pace of productions and doctoring documents before releasing them to the public. Further, Dr. Daszak provided false statements to Congress. Dr. David Morenz, Dr. Fauci's senior advisor, deliberately obstructed the Select Subcommittee's investigation, likely lied to Congress on multiple occasions, unlawfully deleted federal COVID-19 records, and shared non-public information about NIH grant processes with EcoHealth President Dr. Peter Daszak. Obstruction in New York. The executive chamber, led by Governor Kathy Hochul, redacted documents, offered numerous illegitimate privilege claims, and withheld thousands of documents without an apparent legal basis to obstruct the Select Subcommittee's investigation into former Governor Cuomo's pandemic-era failures. And they have the Forbes breaking news. This appears to be, not sure exactly what it is. We'll just check it out real quick.
The COVID-19 pandemic was one of the worst public health crises that our country has ever faced. We lost more than 1 million Americans to the virus, family members and neighbors, friends and colleagues, and millions more died around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic led to a once-in-a-generation event that not only threatened our public health, but also created unprecedented challenges to our economic and homeland security, as well as our very way of life. As Americans...
Yeah, that's an understatement. Of course, this goes on and on. World Health Organization, social distancing, mask mandates, lockdowns, New York pandemic failures, the Cuomos. Yeah, what did they do? The failure of Andrew Cuomo, the nursing home disaster, COVID-19 misinformation. Public health officials misled the American people through conflicting messaging, knee-jerk reactions, and lack of transparency. The federal government demonized alternative treatments and disfavored narratives such as the lab leak theory. And of course, I had multiple videos deleted. We had a video, 17 million views, went global, worldwide. Re-uploaded 3,500 times. Right at the beginning of the pandemic. Dr. Rashid Buttar, God rest his soul. The first major breakthrough at the beginning of the pandemic. Even when other conservative websites were still bowing down to Dr. Fauci, we were brave enough to question the narrative. And what do we get in return? we were silenced. Video after video after video as we continue to push back against these false narratives. Deleted, deleted, deleted. COVID-19 misinformation. The misinformation was coming from Dr. Fauci, directly from the top. Content on this page sourced from the House Oversight Committee website, a select committee on the coronavirus pandemic, the Committee on Oversight and Accountability of the U.S. Representatives. Stay in the know. How's that? That is your new official story from the White House on COVID. Whew. Can you tell I'm pissed? I'm sure you guys are too. Okay, let me try to lower my blood pressure here a little bit. Because, yeah, I am furious. After what you and I all went through during that time period, the mandates, the shaming. Did you ever get shamed in the grocery store? The bookstore? Airport? Gas station? Because you were too close to somebody? Because you didn't have your mask on right, or you weren't even wearing one? You didn't have your papers? What about that time when you wanted to go to Thanksgiving dinner? Or maybe it was Christmas. Remember that? Oh, no, you can't come to Christmas. You got to show your papers. Papers for what? Oh, you went and got it? You have papers now? I'll pray for you. Because that's about all I can do. Because this guy right here, pure blood. Pure blood. Oh, I'm so pissed. Ah! But this is time to celebrate. Because we won. I can be as pissed as I want, but we freaking won. If you were one of the few that survived this entire propaganda campaign, the greatest social pressure campaign in American history, everywhere you went. Everywhere you went. Grocery store, gas station, bookstore, social media, family, friends, driving, taking a walk. It was everywhere. The pressure was so immense. Places of business, nurses, military, forced. Pilots, forced. Babies, 2-year-old babies on airplanes being ejected because they wouldn't keep their mask on correctly. If you survived it, you are one of the few to survive the most intense pressure campaign in American history, and I commend you for that. I don't even know where to go with the rest of this segment. What is this? A post from Glenn Beck. Okay. Glenn Beck. I'm trying to like transition out of this, but I'm like so jacked up right now. 24 hours ago. Glenn Beck says, this may be the most insufferable fact check I've ever seen. I don't know. What is it? Let's see.
Is our political and media culture. Well, I'm about to show you. After President Trump and Vice President Vance repeated the figure of 90,000 American factories that have closed in the past 30 years since NAFTA went into effect, the media raced to their fact check mode to find out, is that number accurate? Here's an example. CBS reported, well, actually, the number 90,000, the number relies on data from the U.S. Census Bureau, and that was updated in 2021, shows the actual number of factories closed since 1997 was only 70,500, which, of course, kind of buries the lead that America has lost somewhere between 70 and 90,000 factories over the last 30 years.
Yeah. Thanks to globalization. Kyle Becker, going back to the COVID thing, he says it's epic. The White House just updated their website, COVID website, to add official stance on misinformation, as I just read to you. Kristen Mag, amazing to see this from the White House. Finally, people are celebrating this. And seeing that it's Good Friday, where our Lord and Savior surrendered himself, put himself on the cross, died, and was resurrected. Today, we have a room full of White House, a room of the White House filled with staffers singing Amazing Grace. You know, oh, this song kills me every time too. And considering that we have the grace that we have been granted by God, but the grace that we made it through that freaking pandemic, and the beauty that this White House is setting the record straight, righting all the wrongs that you and I have endured. This is beautiful. There, because what we're witnessing isn't just a policy shift, it's a complete paradigm reset. For decades, the administrative state has operated like a fourth branch of government, immune to elections and accountability. They censored Americans like me and you during COVID, buried evidence of the lab leak, and silenced experts who questioned the narrative. But now the tables have turned. With Schedule F, the bureaucratic fortress is crumbling. With the COVID.gov overhaul, years of deliberate deception are now finally being exposed. And with White House staffers openly singing Amazing Grace, oh man, the cultural shift is undeniable. This administration isn't just challenging the deep state. It's systematically dismantling it, piece by piece. The permanent government believed they could wait out this presidency like the last one. Well, they were wrong. So here's the question all Americans should be asking. If they lied about COVID's origin for years, What else have they been hiding from us? If you want to support this show, support our efforts here, go grab a hat. Link in the description. God bless you.